there has been tremendous growth in the world of meditation. So, just briefly, because all of you are into meditation, some sort, you'll realize that we are all, by default, in a state of meditation. And we just have to figure out if we can consciously meditate. So this topic is a deep topic, is one of the limbs of the 8 limbs of yoga. It's called dhyanam. And every tradition of spiritual practice has a unique modality in the art of meditation. Every tradition has it. Every yoga school will have it. And in the tradition that we practice is the tradition of Bhakti Vedanta. It's 2 parallel tracks of meditation that engages all dimensions of our existence. So just a few pointers on why meditation is so important and how we are always meditating and how we need to try and be very specific as to the art of meditation. And then we'll be discussing about the essence of meditation according to the practice of Bhakti Vedanta. So we know that meditation it has this ability to work on rewiring the brain and enhancing the emotions and regulating the emotions and your self-awareness. So that's one of the reasons why meditation, because of neuroplasticity that science always talks about, because there's a lot of research that is happening now in the area of meditation as the world is facing more and more crisis with the mind and the objects that the mind is exposed to. So it also actually increases our decision-making ability in the world and self-control, because ourselves sometimes it controls us. So this meditation helps to do that. And it also helps to relax the mind and our whole existence, because it triggers the parasympathetic nervous system and really, really works on various different levels neurochemically. Works on the heart. You can, through meditation, you can slow down the heart rate and lower the blood pressure and your ability to breathe and expand your lungs. So we know so many reasons why meditation is extremely powerful, and it's taking the world by storm. So now, what are we doing is the question. So the reason I mentioned that meditation is a constant state of being that we are in, because meditation means when you are single focused, and that's what meditation is. When your focus is on a single point in life. In the Bhagavad Gita, one of our ancient wisdom texts that we study, there is a beautiful text where these 2 incredible friends, Krishna and Arjuna, are discussing all about the art of meditation. And of course, it's a manual for life. But one point that in particular, uh, uh, in particularly that I was focusing on is this word, vyavasayatmika buddhi, ekeha kurunandana, which means he's asking Arjuna to focus on one thing. We live in a world where we all think that we can multitask. And it's fine because we're allowed to think whatever we want. I remember someone sent me a video of Elon Musk saying that he can do 8 things at the same time. That's why he has his hands on so many projects at the same time. So it is, since he's a leader of sorts in this world, people also think that they can do many things at the same time, which is fine. I'm sure you can. And the meditation that we're talking about in general is when one is able to focus on one thing and one thing only. And the focus is so sharp, Ekeha Kurunandana, because if the mind is many branched, then what happens is your prana, your energy, the cosmic energy that pervades your existence and the universal cosmic creation, it becomes a little scattered. So therefore, Krishna is asking Arjuna that meditation means when one is focused on one thing and zoomed in so finitely. So you can see in your life, now you can gauge, what is it that you're focusing on? What is your focus? What is your meditation? You can ask yourself. Some focus on their pain and suffering, that is their meditation. So then that becomes part of their existence and part of their reality because that is what they're focused on. Some focuses on material success, some focuses on material achievements in education, in their particular field. But whatever the focus is, that's the meditation. And whatever you meditate on, that you will achieve in the material world. It's very, very detailed explained in the Bhagavad Gita also. But today we're going to dive a little deep, but not too deep because it's very broad, this meditation, bhakti meditation. What we'll be sharing is 5 principles or essential principles of bhakti meditation that is given by this great sage named Jiva Goswami in a series of books on meditation that he writes called The 6 Sandarbhas, the Sat Sandarbhas. Very beautiful, very deeply intricate meditation techniques that he provides. But we will just do an overview of it. Okay? So the principle of bhakti meditation is to bring about a consciousness of being an observer. Observer, many people have different definitions, but the bhakti definition of being an observer is become an observer of reality. Reality, as we know, there is subjective, objective, and there is spiritual reality or absolute reality. So this observer consciousness in itself, it's a process where you start to see and you'll start to see things for what they really are, not what we think that they are. And that reality is accessible through humility. That spiritual reality is accessible through humility. Humility is the pathway that leads you to the reality. So I'm just giving you some prelude to what we're going to discuss a little bit deeply. So, principle 1. And principle 2 is this observer mentality or observer consciousness comes initially through the observation of our breath. In the Srimad Bhagavatam, a beautiful wisdom text, this young prince who had left his kingdom in search of reaching the ultimate destination, the ultimate gift, the ultimate benediction. He goes to the forest and he starts meditation, and he uses this process of meditation. And the first step that he was given by his guru, his teacher, is Narada Muni. the importance of pranayama. Pranayama means art of recognizing the breath and observing the breath. And he concludes in this beautiful Sanskrit text, Yontav pravesha mama vacham imam prashuptam. Many of you already know this, so I will not recite it. But this verse basically explains how when the prana enters, when the breath, where the prana comes in, where the divine comes in through the breath, then our existence is possible. So, therefore, the focus on the breath. Principle 3 in this bhakti meditation is that there has to be an element of emotion, because emotion is what guides our concentration and our meditation pathway. Now, we discussed last week, I remember Denny, I don't know if Denny is here with us, but he mentioned about Buddhist meditation. Buddhist meditation is a unique meditation because they don't focus a lot on emotion, because they want you to not have all these emotions because it's a part of material existence. But in the bhakti tradition, which is what we're discussing, emotion is engaged as one of the tools of the deepest meditation. So now emotion is considered not so cool in this world. We just tell people, hey, emotion is for people who are weak. That's the world that we live in. And many people will actually agree with that. But in this Bhakti Vedanta tradition of meditation, we actually value emotion, because emotions are a very unique part of our existence, because they give us access to depths within ourselves. And that emotion that we're talking about is when that emotion from the material plane is transformed into a spiritual emotion. And this emotion initially starts with something called faith. Now, faith is also has many, many sources, but to categorize it in two, we have something called the Lokik Shraddha. We have had a class on this before, or faith that we derive from our sensory faculties, what we see, smell, touch, taste, and hear, and our mind, and our intellect. And then there is faith that comes in from teachings that we have received through a chain of disciplic succession, which means through ancient writings, wisdoms that others have shared, and that is called Shastrik Shraddha. So, again, emotions that are coming from Shastrik Shraddha, or divine spiritual teacher to student disciplic succession, that faith. So now we know that this is very common in both meditation schools, all meditation schools. There is something called Vishaya, means objects in this world that we engage with. Everything in this world is called Vishaya. Vishaya means things, things that have an expiry date. These two words you can remember. And the second point is called Ashraya, or shelter. So all yoga tradition, all meditation traditions, they focus on these two principles, that you must have very clear definition of Vishaya and Ashraya, the reality of the world that we live in and its reality, and what is our shelter? Where do we take refuge? Is very important. You will see everyone in this world needs refuge. That's why we take shelter of wealth, We take shelter of family, society. We take shelter of constantly taking shelter because it is by nature that we are supposed to be sheltered. So this mood of ashraya, taking shelter, is a big part of the practice of the bhakti meditation. So now I want to first share with you, now that I've given you an introduction. So now we can get to the real 5 principles that Jiva Goswami explains of bhakti meditation. So the first principle in the bhakti meditation is that you must have an object of meditation. Here is called Bhagavat Dhyanam. Bhagavat means the divine being. Now, for everybody, that divine being could be whoever your creator, whoever you think is the creator is. But in the Bhakti tradition, it explains the principles of, okay, I still have time. Sometimes I feel like I go over time. So in this Bhakti tradition, we are always thinking of an object, not an object of matter, but an object of love. Because in the Bhakti tradition, we are always thinking how to always inundate ourselves and always be in the shower of this transcendental, unconditional, spiritual, divine love. And that is what the Bhakti tradition speaks about. So in order to do that, the principles that is explained is that Nama, Rupa, and Guna, the 3 principles. Nama means you have to understand what that divine creator, what is his name? Does he have a name? Does he have a form? What does he look like? And what are his attributes? What are his qualities? Some people think God, when you define God, you just think, oh, some old man sitting in the clouds. What does he do? We don't know. What does he eat? So very little definition is there. But in the Bhakti tradition, there is very clear definition that you will have access to. So, Nama, name, Guna, means qualities. What is the quality of the object of that love that you're trying to experience? Is it sweet? Is it sour? Is it salty? Is it pungent? It has to have qualities. Every relationship you have in this world, it has certain qualities to that relationship. And that is where you're able to experience the emotions. And pastimes. That means that love has unique ways it does and exhibits its presence in the world. So those are the 3 characteristics of the first step in Bhagavad Dhyanam, in the spiritual meditation. And then the second step that naturally comes is called the Raganuga. I'm giving you very high-level stuff because we're not getting it's very deep, this thing. So in the Raganuga is the spontaneous state of meditation. Once you start doing form, qualities, and pastimes, that emotion that creates an emotion within us that becomes very, very spontaneous. You don't need to have a particular ritual. For example, I was discussing with who? Someone asked me about Neem Karoli Baba, this great saint in India. And I think Keshavi asked me, what meditation, what samadhi was he in? So when we look at the sages who have reached that level of sadhana, from first level, Nam, Rupa, and Leela. Then they come to this Raganuga stage of spontaneous meditative states, which is a constant existence that they're on that level. They have transcended this material dimension Their consciousness is operating on the spiritual dimension while their body is merely just doing the acts what the body needs to do in this world. But their consciousness has already transcended this material plane. And that is the second stage of bhakti meditation, and that is called Raganuga. In that state, you're constantly engaged in observing everything in this world as a divine lila, as a divine pastime that the object of your love is created. When you see the trees, you're seeing how the object of your love is so deeply connected and is doing these beautiful pastimes with these trees and with all beings, both animate and inanimate objects. And this meditation state is actually very, very internal. It is not something you can see from the outside. It's deeply internal. It's happening inside, in the heart, in the core of the heart, because that definition is also there. In the heart turns into a lotus flower. And in that beautiful space of lotus flower, the heart opens and closes. And as it opens and closes, the object of your love goes from one island of the heart. As we discussed in previous classes, the heart has 9 islands. This lotus flower in the heart has 9 islands. And this lotus flower opens and closes. And as it opens and closes, the object of your love will move and will be creating pastimes of such magnitude that your mind has to transcend matter in order to even get a glimpse of the infinite dimensions of pastimes that is happening within oneself. So that is called the Raganuga stage. And the third is Sharanagati. Sharanagati means complete surrender. Complete surrender means that there is nothing that you hold back for yourself. You are simply the you basically lose your identity. You become identityless. You lose your material identity. And you simply are in union with the spiritual identity. And that is what surrender is, Sharanagati. When the soul is in union with the super soul, and of course that exchange has 5 different mellows, 5 different emotions, which we won't get into now. But that union comes through Sharanagati, through complete surrender. So this is the third level of that we study from in the Bhakti meditation. And the fourth one is called Chitta Suddhi, purification of the heart. And the heart is very important to keep in mind. The heart is a big, big part of Bhakti meditation because everything is happening in the heart. It is the seat of purity. It is the sanctuary of the divine. And it always needs to have a very, very clean space. For example, living in this world, we have so many promises that are broken, so many relationships, so many letdowns. What happens is all those emotions, all our different debris that are collected in our heart, and the different chambers of the heart are fully covered with these different emotions that we have accumulated throughout life. Non-stop breakdown of false promises. So therefore, Chitta Suddhi, meaning in order for all that beautiful pastime, lila, to happen in the heart space of meditation, then all this debris has to be removed. So therefore, Chitta Suddhi is what happens naturally, so that you can enjoy this different, incredible emotions of transcendental love that is happening within the heart. And the fifth one is called mukti, or liberation. And in this bhakti meditation, it is very clearly explained that it is not by our effort. You do not reach this state. Bhakti is not, meditation is not a meditation that you simply reach by your effort. In this final stage of mukti, the experience of union with God in these different pastimes, it is only by the grace, only by the mercy of the divine. We are not capable of demanding that the divine come in and reside in that sacred space where you're constantly in that emotion of transcendental love. That is not something anyone can demand, because that is only accessible only when the divine wishes to share. So that's why it's called Kripa Siddhi. And therefore, in this final stage of this practice of bhakti, we understand the meditation requires an ascending process, but the main experience comes when it is descending process. That means when the divine wishes to grant us this grace to have access to that transcendental love within the heart. So it has to be a combined effort of one's daily sadhana and making sure that that daily sadhana is done with the utmost sincere guidance of a teacher. One has to have a teacher who guides one through this process, and then only we have access to that divine causeless mercy. And that gives us access to the deepest chambers of transcendental emotion of pure bhakti. So this is giving you a very a high-level 5-step on what is this bhakti meditation all about. And each one of these steps has very, very detailed prescribed method on how to enter that space. It's called Nitya Lila. Nitya Lila means eternal pastimes that is happening within our heart. It is not something that happens once in a while. Some people say, oh, I have felt that at this junction, at this location, at this time. Yes, you can get glimpses of that. But this bhakti meditation, the ultimate meditation, is that it is a constant meditation that is happening in your heart. So, I want to leave you, I know I give too much high-level stuff, but any questions or comments anybody would like to share? Yes, nailed.
Often when you begin your talks on these Saturday talks, you say, I've been meditating and I've and you come up with answers to or messages about distraction or about whatever the topic is for that week. Is that something that we can do in some way, or is that
Absolutely. Yes, nailed. It's a very good question because, whenever I have to share something from my heart, I have to actually meditate on it, which means I have to access whatever I have inside of me, everything that I have learned in the last 42 years of this practice, and everything that I have practically done in my sadhana. What did I experience? So the theory is one thing I access, and then my own theoretical knowledge, and then realized knowledge. What have I realized? and then also try and access what other sages have realized and what has also been revealed to me. So theoretical, realized, and revealed. Realization comes through execution. So that's why I do, whenever I want to discuss on a topic, I have to really, really let my mind sit in a state of meditation. What am I going to share? What is this topic all about? And then I just start digging into myself, and more uh, comes out, and it starts to open, and then I'm able to put it on a piece of paper, and then I can share, or I just share whatever is inside of me. So now, can everyone do this meditation? Actually, we are always meditating. We are never not in a meditative state. It's just that we have to figure out, what are you meditating on? Meditation means zoomed into something. That's what meditation means. Dhyanam. So if you read Kurma Puran, one of the 18 Puranas, there is a definition given of dharana. It says dharana means someone who can stay focused on something for 12 seconds. I was like, what? That's it? But try it. See if you can meditate on one thing for 12 seconds. That is dharana. If you do that 12 seconds, great. You lose focus, try again for another 12 seconds. And that's what dharana is. And dhyana is when you do that 12 seconds times 3. So it's 36 seconds of concentrated, deep meditated focus. And when we do that, this is a recommendation in the bhakti. We use the mantra. We use the mantra as the thread that takes us to that level of meditation. And that mantra is given to us by our teacher. He teaches us on how to do that mantra. And you do that mantra, you'll notice 12 seconds, you're doing the mantra meditation, mind goes off. And then the teacher teaches you, bring the mind back to the sound. And then that disappears. Sometimes it may not even last 12 seconds. But each and every one of us, whatever we want to do, and we want to be successful in materially or spiritually, you have to figure out what is your meditation. And why is your meditation your meditation? If you're just thinking you want to become successful at something, you just focus, zoom in on what is that particular thing you want to become successful in. Materially, karmically, things will start to manifest. If it is meant to manifest. In Buddhist style of meditation, they feel that you can manifest anything you want. But in the bhakti, we say no, there's an element of karma and time and other environments that contribute. It's not that you can just sit and meditate and whatever you want, that becomes your reality and you can manifest it. No, it doesn't quite work like that. That element is there. You have to become super zoomed in, focused. But also, one has to keep in mind that there is an element of karma. Does your karma allow you to have this success? And that's why when we do the reality check in the first step of humility, acknowledging that this may not be the right thing for you. And that's why bhakti provides a very interesting roadmap on how to achieve these meditative states. It's not just imagination and think about it, you manifest it. No. We start focusing, but you have to add an element of sadhana, this element of meditation, mantras that help to thread the success of your meditation. So Nild, yes, you can meditate on anything and you'll get tremendous amount of clarity. Say you're stuck in some situation, you're depressed or you're sad or you're feeling anxiety. If you really meditate, zoom in on that anxiety, not the amplification, but zoom in on that anxiety, you will see it'll start to disintegrate. Because there is nothing to be anxiety about. That is not a reality. that is an altered reality that has been subjected to you. And that's why in the first stage of bhakti meditation, automatically the illusion is gone. So yes, it's very important to meditate, meaning zoom in on that. What is this? Asking yourself, what is this depression? How did it get here? What does it feel like? Where does it feel? What causes depression? What is that environment that causes it? Is it continuous? Did I inherit it? Is it genetic? So this continuous zooming in is what meditation is. So yes, just simple first level of bhakti meditation can give you tremendous results in terms of clarity in life and direction and purpose. Does that answer anything, Neil?
Yes, thank you. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Baba Mai wanted to share something.
Yes, thank you so much for sharing wisdom with us. I know time is short, but if you would please describe the difference between, or the distinct difference between Ashreya and Sharanagati.
Ashraya and Sharanagati. Yes, Ashraya means you need to find your shelter. Who is your shelter? Who is it? And once you find who that shelter is, then there is Sharanagati. So Ashraya, we have to find our shelter. Because if we don't have shelter in this world, we will constantly be looking. And the search will never end, which is fine. But at the same time, if we're looking for real shelter, then you'll find it. And real shelter is deep within you, and you'll find it. The divine is not too far. He explains, Krishna in the Bhagavad Gita explains to Arjuna, Sarvasya chaham hridhi shanvidishtu. The divine is located in the inner cores of the heart. So, Baba Mai, I hope that helped. Maybe not. Anyone would like to add to that? Ramananda Prabhu, you want to add something?
I just wanted to ask because you're mentioning about the importance of emotion in the bhakti process. So how do we develop positive emotions? Can we work on that separately, or does it come automatically? How does it work?
Yes. Nama, Rupa, and Lila. Whenever you think, say for example, you think of, Carmen. You think of Carmen, you'll see her form, her qualities, her attributes, and her leelas. What does she do? How does she smile? How does she conduct, behave herself? And when you're always absorbed in that object of your love, object of your meditation, then what happens is that emotion naturally develops. That's how love develops. You see someone and you carry that image with you, but you don't even have their number. You just keep thinking of her, but not of her. You just saw that eyes and a smile, and that's all you noticed, and it captivated you. So your emotion is already gone. And then what happens is your intelligence helps to figure out, where did I meet her? And then you go and try and find out if there is a way you can get her number or her address, and then you try to contact her, and then you try to follow her on Facebook and stalk her on Instagram. And then you finally see, you just become more and more absorbed in that, and then your emotion is completely gone. And by the time you meet her, you're just completely you're in love before even you met her. So that emotion travels with you. So in this bhakti meditation, we have to focus on lila, the pastimes. If you have an object of love, say for example, my object of love is Krishna. He is considered to be the personification of unconditional love. So he is my object. What do? I find out where he lives. How do I do that? I study the writings in extensively to find out where he lives. I actually know his daily schedule. Minute by minute, I can give you his daily schedule. what time he wakes up, what does he do with his mom and his friends, and blah, blah, blah. And like all of this, it's details. When they speak, how does he speak? When he walks, it's all there in the Brahma Samhita, explains detailed characteristics. So whenever you have an object of love, you have to know what they're all about. What do they like to eat? What happens when you go on a first date? You ask them, what's your favorite movie? What do you like to eat? You know, where's your vacation destination? What's your favorite color? Blah, blah, blah. And we just get into this, uh, into this zone where we are so interested and intrigued about that person. So in bhakti meditation, we have to find our ashray, our shelter. And once we find that shelter, then we start to find out about that shelter. So Ramananda Prabhu, I'm not sure if I made any sense to you.
Thank you, Veda. Thank you.
Okay. Vani wants to share something and then our time is up.
Yeah, I'll try to make it quick, Vedaji. Your first explanation definitely answered my question before I did, but I have a follow-up question. So, you answered by saying that when you meditate on an object, um, um, then you find answers to what's going on in your mind. So that definitely helps me answer some of my questions. But every day I have something or the other going on in my mind. So every day, if my object of meditation keeps changing, when will I ever go beyond this and focus on the object of divinity? So should I? So what should I meditate on? Should I meditate on what's on my mind that day, which is materialistic, or should I say this is not the real thing? So should I ignore and go beyond and try to meditate on that object of divinity that you call Krishna? So again, the question comes to be, what should my focus be on? I can meditate on different things the rest of my life because I'll have something or the other because I'm living in this materialistic world. So how should I be and what should I meditate on?
Beautiful question. As I was mentioning, that we need to find out what is our shelter. And that is what you meditate on. Someone that gives you shelter. Where do we take shelter of? Like in my life, briefly, I couldn't take shelter of my parents because I didn't have parents. Most of us, we take shelter of our parents when we're kids. So, at every junction in our lives, we need to have shelter. And someone that truly gives shelter to your heart, someone truly gives shelter to your heart, not material shelter, eternal shelter, that feeling of unconditional love within the heart, and allowing us to experience that love within our heart, that is our shelter. So whoever that is, we need to find that. We need to find our shelter. And once we find that shelter, and that is what we need to meditate upon. Because then we will be with the shelter. For example, a child wants to be with the mother. And the minute the mother walks away and the child cannot see the mother, the child freaks out. Complete panic. And as long as the mother is there, the child will do anything. The mother tells the child to jump and the child jumps. Because the child knows the mother will catch. So that deep faith emotion that we have, that is the surrender, that is the ashray, that is the shelter we are speaking about. Where can we say, I will just drop everything because I know you're there? Who is that person? What is his nature? What is the characteristics? And that is where the immersion comes in. And that's why it always helps to have a guru or a teacher that actually guides us through this process. In the Bhakti tradition, it always explains that there's tremendous focus on teachers because we have access to it within ourselves, but we don't know how to open it. You can have the vault where all your fortunes are there locked in, has been left there for you. But if you don't have the key, or if you have the key, you don't know how to use it, what's the point of it? So the yoga texts are saying that we have access. We have it all within ourselves. When we came into this world, we came with this divine gift. But someone has to show us how to open it. Someone has to show us where the key is. And that is why teachers are there in the Bhakti traditions, where they help to guide you through that process. Otherwise, we get lost. I don't know if I made any sense, Vani. I'm
No,
sure
yeah,
you.
it did help, Vedaji. Thank you. I have follow-up questions, but maybe some other time. Thank you.
Thank you so much. I know we went a few minutes over time. I'm so grateful to be with all of you. And I do know that, oh, Nitai, you have any announcements? Nitai, Keshavi, Durga Devi, all the incredible people.
Sorry, a few people are asking about what mantras, like, can you share the mantras or the mantras specific to each person? That's in the chat. I don't know if we have time for that.
Yeah, you just come to the retreats and we'll give you details, because then we'll teach you how to do it. That's the cool part of it, you know, and we'll teach you exactly how to do it. We are meditators by nature. So why not learn how to meditate properly? Okay, Nita, any announcements?
Yeah, there is the retreat details I'll just add in the chat.
Okay.
And we have retreats
If you want
in
to add, then
Colombia and Connecticut, I think,
okay.
this month and next month.
Yeah, Connecticut, our sales are entering week. So just throwing that out there for anybody who wants to join us, please come. There's also a day pass if you would like.
Okay, great. Yeah, on the Connecticut retreat, I was being told that I'm going to be talking about divine love. So it's going to be a very rich topic, talking about the 5 divine emotions, 5 rasas, the 5 juices of relationships. So it'll be interesting how then you can also gauge your relationship you have with your partners and in life and whoever you want to meet in life. So you'll have some direction that is given by the yoga text, just to really get a deeper understanding of it. And yeah, we have this coming, first one is Colombia, and then Connecticut so far. And I know that Nitai does a lot of work. So with this, our social media, so please stay in touch. And if you have any questions on particular topics, you can always message Nitai, Keshavi, and you can message in the WhatsApp group or in Instagram or on Facebook, on YouTube, wherever you want. And I will be happy to meditate on your topic. How's that? You want to give me a meditation? You're welcome to give me that meditation every week. And I'll share what is my meditation on your meditation. Okay. So thank you all so much. So grateful to be with all of you. I look forward to seeing you next Saturday. Namaste, everyone.